Anywho, peace and love, everybody. It's Anna Renee, your love power. God is coming back once again and delivering on the promise that I made to deal with the astrology. People, I'm putting on to my extremely dry hands because I have been hand washing clothing. I am putting on shea that I have mixed with olive oil, I believe, and essential oil of geranium, pretty sure. Yep, geranium and maybe something else, maybe lavender as well. Onto these dry hands and these dry fingernails as well, because I do real stuff, you know. I'm in here doing my natural thing. I am that natural woman. And natural women wash clothes by hand. My people, I'm just BSing as usual. But I did. I did wash some clothes by hand, which is the way I wash clothes these days. And that's probably why my fingernails dry out. Although I don't use, I use, what is the name of that natural detergent? Earthbound or something like that. I managed to get some of that while I was still shopping at the grocery outlet when it happened to come through. And also, I'll use dish soap to wash my clothes with. Yes. One thing that I have learned is that soap is soap, kind of. Soap is kind of like soap, at least the liquid soap. And it washes my clothes just as well as detergent, you know. And because detergent is so expensive, it's outrageously priced. The detergent is some overpriced stuff. I don't understand why things like toilet paper and detergent are so outrageously priced. Or maybe I do understand completely. But, that's besides the point. I was washing clothes and now I'm lotioning my hands with this blend of shea butter olive oil that I got in this Trader Joe sugar plum jam jar. Bought that sugar plum jam from Trader Joe's. It molded on me real fast. I was not even prepared. It must have been completely natural with no preservatives in it because it got molded super fast. But it was good before it molded on me. It tasted pretty damn good. But just in case you buy jam, we took sweet, juicy plums and combined them with a splash of orange juice and spices to create this festive sugar plum jam. It's so good, it will leave visions of this jam dancing in your head. Okay, Trader Joe. Why did mine mold up on me so fast? I did not know that it was natural. If I had known, maybe I would have ate it faster so it wouldn't have gotten a chance to mold up on me like it did. Anyway, using the jar because these jars that you get from Trader Joe's like this, they'd be so perfect for using for other things. This is absolutely perfect to put shea butter in. So that's what I've done. My people, yes, I said that I was coming back with the fire, okay? The actual astrology, because this book that I have on it is so good. It is so good. The book that I have is so good. I always do this. I just put what's left on my head, on my hair. It helps to fill in the blank spots on my head, even though I have shaved my head. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. But first, let me show you. I finished it. Okay, this is my wrap. It's finished. I put the border around it. You see that border? I did pretty good. Used up all of the yarn pretty much. The last of this very beautiful gold yarn, which is the main color in it. And I'm going to be wearing this wrap later on. Once it starts cooling down, if I feel the nerve, you got to be nervy to step out with something like this on, What I want to do with it is close it sort of like this up to a point and leave a certain amount open, and then sort of fold it over or let it sort of fall in on itself and put it on this way so that my head is through the hole, and then this covers probably 3/4 of my arm, and this will do the very same thing, but it's going to be sewed, or I'm going to make a chain and put it together, and it's going to hang the same way on my other arm, and it'll hang as a triangular shape in the front and back. So it's going to be like that shawl deal. But this one's going to be funky fresh because of the bold, audacious fall colors. These are more summer colors, but it's going to have to work in the fall because I can't wear this thing in the summer. It's too hot to wear something like this in the summer. But anyway, got that done too. Okay, let's get to the point here. Let's not belabor this anymore, my people. I have been really impressed with what I have read so far, just going over the elements from this particular book that I'm reading from, Do It Yourself Astrology. This is a book that I recently got. It's going to be noisy, my people. I have to open up this window because I'm wearing a turtleneck sweater. And I got everything else closed, and it's just a noisy day. People playing music, helicopters are going to be circling around. That happens from time to time. That's just the nature of stuff. But as soon as I cool down, maybe I'll close it right back up because it might get too noisy. I really enjoy what I did read so far, and I felt that it gave a huge amount of insight. I know I got some revelations about my own personality based on what I read, just reading the elements. Wow. Wow. Okay. This is noisy. I better turn on my fan. Yeah, we'll do that so I can close this up. And I felt like, yeah, let me do what I said I was going to do with this book, and that's read through it and break down this energy that we be carrying based on our signs and the rest of the planets as well. All right. And we don't be understanding ourselves because we don't know about the rest of the planets, right? We don't know about where our Venus is in our natal charts, or where our Mercury is, and where our moon is, and everything else, Jupiter and everything. We know, most of us know our sun signs. Okay, we know that, but that's only one part out of 12. That's only one part out of 12. Where are all the rest of the signs? What's in the rest of your signs, we should say? What is in the rest of your chart? The houses. You got to take that into consideration as well, especially the other planets, especially the inner planets. Earth, well, we're not doing Earth. We're on Earth, so we don't count Earth. but definitely Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter too, you know. And then we start moving to the mid planets like Saturn, Neptune, and then the outer planets and stuff like that. But right now, I want to do the sun. We got to do the sun, right? But I'm going to also do the moon. So we're going to do both. But I'm just going to start. Today is going to be Aries, which is the beginning of the astrology, right? The zodiac or whatever you want to call it. That's the first sign in the zodiac, which is Aries. So let's see what Aries is in the sun and in the moon. You don't hear a lot of people talking about their moon in Aries, you know. What does a moon in a fire sign like Aries look like? What does that look like? We generally kind of get the idea of what the sun in Aries looks like, right? But what about people who happen to have their moon in Aries, you know? What does that do? But first, let's start at the beginning, my people. We're going to start at the beginning. I'm going to do the sun. And I like the way he breaks down. And if I have enough time, I might go into the next one, which would be Mercury in Aries. And we know that Mercury is about the talking, the communication, right? So Mercury in Aries has got to be something quite interesting, right? So I was getting ready to say something, but I forgot what I was getting ready to say. So the sun, and oh yeah, I was getting ready to say this. He does this very interesting thing where he has what he calls the transformer. Once you understand some basics about yourself, then you can determine whether or not you want to change certain things, the negative aspects. And his little thing that he calls the transformer has this cyclic thing. You start here, right? These are the positives, basic positives of a sun in Aries. And these are the basic negatives of a sun in Aries. And then you follow this down, right? And this is the problem, and this is the solution. And then you follow it back up, and then you come here, and whatever it says there, and you just keep going like that, and you have this sort of spiral thing going on. Okay, and that's his transformer. That's how you get busy putting in that work for the negative things, and you know what your positives are and how to even magnify them if that's what you would want. So let's start. The sun in Aries, Yales. I hope you guys can't hear that noise of my fan. I hope you can. The essence, living through doing. Living through doing. That's the essence of the sun in Aries. Living through doing. The pioneer and the champion are two catchphrase words what we can use to describe Aries, a sun in Aries, okay? As the first sign of the zodiac, your role as an Arian is simply to get something started. Let's get this party started, all right? Which is why the sun is exalted in Aries. For here, the will has free reign to express itself. You could be doing this in some form of leadership or by forcing others to look at themselves in a new way. You could accomplish this either consciously by carrying out a deliberate act in the name of some cause, or unconsciously by making it hard for others to relate to you as you are. It is preferable to be consciously aware of your pioneering streak, for in this way, not only do you enjoy life more, but you avoid feeling pushed around by others. And with Aries, it's more or less a case of push or be pushed. This can be objectionable to others at times. Whoo, that thing is noisy to me. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear it. It's just, yeah. Okay. All right. This can be objectionable to others at times, but you must have the freedom to act rather than just thinking about it and getting pent up in the process. You must be able to act. Some people might have a problem with you being that one that always going for it, acting. Maybe you seem impulsive to somebody else, but you can't not be your Aryan self if you're an Aryan. Okay. If your sun is in Aries, then if you are not allowed to move, no matter how impulsive it might seem to others, then you're not being yourself. And that creates tension within you that can break forth in some kind of way that might be negative. You got to be yourself. We got to be ourselves. Just be yourself. Okay. At all costs, you need to avoid negative emotions like resentment, regret, and self pity, for they would deny you what is essential to your Aryan nature, which is straightforwardness. Yeah, so if you have resentment, regret, and self pity, then how are you going to be straightforward, without hurting people's feelings or without, if you're pent up, if you have regret, then that's something that's pent up anyway. Self pity is something that you pent up within you, stuff like that. Resentment is something that's pent up as well. You're being anti-Aryan if you are resentful, self-pitying, or what did I say? Resentment, regretful, and self-pitying. You can't have those kinds of negative emotions and be your full Aryan self, okay? You have to be able to go forward. You have to be able to speak your mind, say what you want, do what you feel, but you don't want to harm people. You want to be balanced enough that you are not out there, stepping on toes with your hooves. Any hoot, as an Aryan, you like a challenge that will stir you into action. Okay. This challenge may just be frustration, or at a more evolved and conscious level, you may know what or whom you are fighting for. If you're on that higher level, you might have that energy and you are moving in a particular direction. You are fighting for a cause. You're not a rebel without a cause. You are a rebel with a cause, okay? And it's a good cause too. And it's perfect for your energy, okay? If you don't, then ask yourself until you have an answer. An Aryan without a direction to which to head or a cause to champion is more like a sheep than a ram. The quest is all. You need that quest, okay? You should not be afraid to be forceful. That's what Aryans are. For this is central to your nature. You can't be afraid to be forceful. People have to be able to adapt to you. But of course, you want to be balanced in your forcefulness. You don't want to just run roughshod over people. But you still got to be able to move, okay? Straightforward. You are that ram getting ready to bust something down, okay? If you are afraid, then look for negative examples of force in your personal history, such as violence or abuse from others, or a tradition that neglected independence and personal initiative. For this could have inhibited your natural urge to go forward into life in a direct and uncomplicated fashion. Now that's real interesting right there. You know what? Because of course you're going to have people who are sun sign Aries, but they are not progressive or forward moving because of their upbringing. Maybe it was not correct. Maybe the person was shamed or discouraged from being forward moving. That's why astrology can be extremely important as a parent raising their children. Because what we tend to do is impose our way of doing on our children, you know? If I'm a Sagittarian, which I am, I may have imposed reading and writing and, studying on my son. Okay. And maybe his way was a different way, but because I was young and didn't know what I was doing and didn't have a background in these kinds of differentiations inside of astrology, I imposed that kind of way and may not have been beneficial to him, you know? And, actually, I did do that. Okay. I did do that because that's the way I did things. And it never occurred to me, I didn't have the information to do anything any different. And how many parents are doing that all over the world, Now, if you're the same sign as your children, as your child, okay, then that's a different thing. Well, you can't even say that because you can have different moon signs, different other planets, just because you are Pisces and your child is a Pisces doesn't mean that the moon is the same for both of you. So, in terms of emotions, which is what the moon covers, you could be two different beings, even though you both are sign Pisces. Astrology could be so important for being able to be a good parent to your child. A lot of times, what we will say is, well, there's no book on parenting. There it is. Well, actually, there are. Pick up an astrology book, and there's a book on parenting right there. All right. But anyway, if you grew up with these kinds of restrictions, then that might be the cause of your Aryan nature being crushed and you don't move forward. You're not straightforward. You're not forceful or any of that kind of thing. It's your upbringing, most likely. Something happened, okay? It's normal. I mean, there's a whole lot of people here who are misparenting their children, and it's not because they're wicked and evil. It's just because they're uninformed. They just don't know. Okay. So you got to be forceful as an Aryan. Okay. Of course, you got to keep in mind that there may be Aryans who are not super forceful like that based on other strong placements in their chart. That's why it's so important. It may not have been that something happened in your upbringing that caused you to maybe not be so forceful as an Aryan. I guess I'm talking to myself because I have Aries in the 6th and the 7th house in my chart. Okay. And anyway, let's not talk about me right now. Okay. Let's not. All right. So let's see. If you are afraid, then look for negative examples of force in your personal history. So if you're afraid, just check it out. Look and see, be able to look at, your past background without feeling, some people have a hard time looking behind them, looking into their past, especially if it was difficult. But that's where the answers will lie if you're having difficulties in your life right now as an adult. Okay. But this is what they're saying, if you have difficulties moving forward and being forceful as an Aries sun, then look to see if that may have been what it is. Were you told to sit your butt down when you were a kid and jumping up and down and stuff like that? I remember my son when he was like 6, 7, and 8. He would he was very active as a boy. When he was a little one, he was active, and I don't know that he has Aries in his chart like that. You know, he's a Scorpio, which I've said to you guys like a bazillion times. But when you look at Scorpio from an old perspective, okay, they say that Mars rules Scorpio in the old, like in my Kabbalah book, Mars rules Scorpio. So Scorpio has the same energy as Aries because Mars rules Aries too. And when I learned that, I'm like, wow, that's deep. Okay. Because I saw that in my son. He was that one that was climbing the walls. He was pretty good at climbing the walls. He was a kid. I wasn't trying to make him not climb the walls, all the time. I wasn't forcing him to not play and stuff like that. We used to go to the park all the time, and he'd be swinging off the swings and flipping and doing all kinds of stuff like that. He should have been a flying squirrel. He really should have. He was, in fact, a flying squirrel, and he needed to be. But anyway, when he was younger. Okay, so that might be a thing. All right. It's up to us to take the responsibility to correct these different things. And we're going to deal with this transformer to help those who may need that. Okay. Let's see. Conversely, such bad influences could also have led you to be overly forceful. Okay. Or to be unsympathetic to your own needs and sensitivity. Much as you are the ram, there is still the lamb in you, okay? Which means that at times you would attain your goals more easily by gently falling in with the demands of a given social situation rather than getting your horns entangled in something bigger and more powerful than yourself. This, which is just meaning give and take. You got to be able to give and take. You got to compromise sometimes. You got to you can't have it your complete way all the time and run over anybody. I mean, that goes for every sign in the zodiac. That goes from Aries all the way to Pisces. Okay, everybody on some level in the negative can want to be overly forceful or overtake and encroach upon the rights of other people from some kind of a negative aspect of whatever their sign happens to be. So for the ram, you know what, remember that you got some lamb in there too. Okay, don't try to roughshod all the time. Okay, but don't hold yourself back either. You got to be in the middle with that. Okay. All right, you have strength and softness. Okay, you like extremes, as a matter of fact, okay, physical, emotional, and mental, and are all the better for experiencing them. But if your extremism goes too far beyond social acceptability, okay, yeah, you live in a world with people. You can't go overboard, okay? Then expect to be extremely lonely. If you are too extremist and your extremism goes too far beyond social acceptability, then expect to be extremely lonely. At your Aryan best, you can inject new life into relationships and enterprises. Ever emerging like a fountainhead into the arena of life, you lead others from darkness into light. That's your call right there. So, Sun in Aries, all right, you want to be your best, okay? Let's look at this transformer. Let's look at the transformer and see what keywords are there to describe you. This is going to be a rough day, I see. I guess you're not supposed to wear a black turtleneck sweater on a warm day. You're not supposed to do that. But anyway, I did. So the Sun in Aries transformer. Okay, the positive. You are assertive, go getting, crusading, and enthusiastic, but in the negative, you are aggressive, unreflective, fanatical, and arrogant. Woo, that's no good. Okay. Aggressive, unreflective. What can be more frustrating than someone who's not reflective? They can't look back and see where they may have missed the mark and they don't even want to look back, you know. But when you're positive, you're assertive. And that's what we need in this day and age of butt kissers. We need somebody who's assertive, you know, who go gets it. If you don't go and get it, then it ain't going to get God. Can you get it if you ain't getting it? Let's get this, okay? Crusading. We need crusaders. This world is on its way to hell in a handbasket. Who's the crusaders out here? Who are the crusaders? Okay. And who's enthusiastic? Who's got some fire, some passion, some energy to get things done? Come on. All right. But, okay, when it's negative, this could be your problem. Okay. Always tripping over yourself, inviting conflict and harsh treatment, getting deflated. You're tripping over yourself. I guess that you're moving too fast. Okay, you're tripping over yourself. You're doing a little bit too much of that go getting, right? Maybe you're going to get, but you don't even know what it is you're going for. You know, you're tripping. Okay, your self awareness is not there. Okay, you're inviting conflict. You're doing too much. Okay, you're doing a little bit too much, and harsh treatment on top of that. You know, you must be doing a whole lot too much if people want to treat you harshly, you know, when all you're trying to do is get something done. You're going about it too wrongly, too harshly. And so people retaliate and give you a little bit back of what you gave them. But you didn't realize you were giving it to them, but you were. Okay. So here's the solution: look, learn to look before you leap. You're going to leap, but at least look. Look first so you know where you possibly might land, right? Which means first finding out what you wish to make happen. There it is. You want to get something going, but what? You got to know what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? So let's see. More positives. You are direct, you're frank, you're one pointed, and you're straightforward. That's great, you know? We like it straight without a chaser, at least I do. Just come to the point with it, God doggone it. I love that, okay? You're blunt when it's negative. You're tactless. You're blind to the side issues. You don't care about your fallout on either side. You're just going straight ahead. You know, people are falling down dead on either side of you. You're not even paying attention. Okay. And you're simplistic when it's negative. It's too simple. The world is not as simple and straightforward as that if you do too much of it. Okay. So, what could you do? What could be the problem? Being deserted by others because they cannot make you notice them and their feelings any other way. Wow. You're not paying attention to other people or their feelings. And so people just leave. They leave you. They desert you, as a matter of fact. Why did you have to desert me? That's a song by Taj Mahal I was telling you guys about. Why did you have to leave and run away? Those are the lyrics to the song. Okay. People just gonna leave you, you know? If you if you're going a little bit too hard in your thing and you're not paying attention to other people, you're not taking into consideration that you're dealing with human beings because you're so sure of your way is your way or the highway, then that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be on the highway by your daggone self, you know. You're gonna be like, where's my crew? I don't see nobody. If you truly have a point, now this is your solution, then they'll come back for more. If you don't, they won't. It's simple. Okay. If you are doing something that makes sense, okay, if you're shooting out for something that, you know, if you're crusading for something that means something, then the people will be there for you, right? But if you don't, if you're not, if what you're doing don't have no rhyme or reason to it, the people ain't gonna be there for us. It's easy. It's easy. I like it. So that tells that will tell you whether or not you got your thing together. All right, more positive, spontaneous, energetic, stimulating, and courageous. Spontaneous. Spontaneous. That's so beautiful. That's that energy that just manifests itself. It's so perfect, you know. And then that's as well, you're energetic. You have the energy, okay? And you are stimulating. Other people can pick up a little bit of your shine from you, you know? And you're courageous because you're getting ready to go forward, right? But a negative thing, you're impatient, you're restless, irritating, and foolhardy. Oh boy, the foolhardy. Okay, there's courageousness, and then there's just foolhardiness. Okay, there's courageous, and there's foolhardy. Those are two different things. Okay, foolhardy is the person. What I just thought of. There used to be these videos online, and they were of Arabic men, right? Uh, uh, they had roller skates on, right? I think they had roller skates on, or they had some. They were doing something really, really crazy. They'd be driving on the freeways, wherever they were in Arabia, you know, in Dubai or somewhere, you know. It'd be one person driving a car, and then it'd be another guy outside of the car. He had the car door open, okay, and he's doing all kind of crazy moves. He's flying, you know. He's holding on to the open car door, right? He's like hanging onto the car, but he would lift his foot up. Let me see if I can find that. And be doing all kind of ballerina kind of moves. It was crazy. It was complete. That's what you call foolhardy. It looks good. It looks nuts. It was similar to something that we used to do here in the town a long time. Not me, and they called it ghost riding the whip. You know, just weird. But then the Arabic brothers, they took it to a whole new level of complete tomfoolery. That's foolhardy. Am I going to interrupt myself trying to find this? Yes, I am. Arabic men hanging out of their moving cars. Crazy Arab drivers. I don't know if this was exactly it, but these guys had on their whatever their outfits are, where it's just a long garment, right? I don't know what you call those. I don't think they're called hijabs, but I don't know what they were called. So that it looks a particular way when they are dressed like that because the wind is blowing so hard because they're hanging out of their cars. This right here is wild. This is crazier than what I remember. This is plain nuts. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. Sorry. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. It's crazier than it used to be when I first started watching it, and they doing way too much from what I can see. They got their car, they're driving their cars on two wheels. It wasn't all of that back when I was watching. But anyway, there's courageousness and then there's foolhardiness. Courageousness, you're doing something that means something. You know, you're taking a risk to do it, but the end result is going to be beneficial. Foolhardiness, you're doing this and there's no point to it. You can say, well, you got a huge set, but so what? You know, what you're doing don't make no sense. It doesn't come to anything. Okay, that's a negative. Okay, all right, that's a negative for some Aries. Okay, Sun in Aries. Okay, so problem could be lacking coherence and direction. Okay, failing to contemplate, posing as decisiveness. Yeah, you haven't thought this through, but you decided to do it, and it looks like you are just, you know, you got your thing together, but what you have decided to do don't make no sense. You know, it looks like decisiveness, but it's not really worthwhile. Okay, that's a negative. Okay, That's the problem, okay? The solution is what springs from your body or mind is only as good as what dwells in your heart. Ooh, that's serious. What springs from your body or mind is only as good as what's in your heart. So you got to have your mind right. You got to have your heart right so that what comes forth, right? What was the word? Spontaneously comes forth from you is worth anything. Okay. If your mind is all messed up, then what's going to spontaneously erupt from you or come forth from you, it's not going to be worthwhile. Okay. Yeah, you have a set, a huge set that gives you the courage to go and do the thing, but what's the point? It's not worthwhile, in other words. Okay. More positives. Good starter, a warrior caste, leadership type, confident, okay, or a negative, a bad finisher. Wow, that's serious. A good starter if you're positive, or a bad finisher if you're negative. They didn't even say a bad starter, they said a bad finisher. Wow, that's heavy right there. A bad finisher. Wow. That's even worse than being a bad starter. You're argumentative, uncooperative, and pompous. Okay. What could be the problem with that? Projects that come to nothing. Partnerships that come to blows. Wow, that's serious. That's serious. Partnerships that come to blows. Ain't that something when you are partners with somebody and you end up fighting? That's some negative Aryan stuff right there. So, what's the solution? See your role as the ideas person, then inspire the others to carry them through. Okay? See your role as the ideas person. You're the instigator, you're the starter, you're the assertive, the go-getter, you're the leader. So if you're a leader, you got to have somebody following you, right? So you got to have enough intelligence to get people to follow you and to do what you say do, but it's got to mean something and it's got to be worthwhile to them as well as you. Okay, leader, sun in Aries. Okay. And then the last batch of words, let's see where, ooh, 43. God, I only just did sun. Independent, strong willed, single minded, and original being. Okay. Independent, strong willed, single minded, original being. Or in the negative, self centered, headstrong, thoughtless, and intolerant. The problem is feeling alone with no external point of reference or source of comfort. Hmm. Okay. That's that lamb stuff on the inside, the soft, spongy part on the inside. Feeling alone with no external point of reference or source of comfort. And your solution with that is to know that freedom and individuality are found in the narrowest passes and the loneliest places. So there's always taking that negativity and rebuilding it into something positive. Yeah, you can learn yourself in the quiet spaces if you're open to taking that time to get to that place. If you come to this feeling alone with no external point of reference, then you got to get to the place of freedom, okay, and individuality, which is that quiet space. It comes to that no matter what sign you are, okay. You got to sit still with God, which is internal and external, okay. The spirit of God within you. You got to come to new understanding of yourself. Okay, my people, there it is, Sun in Aries. Should I do the Moon in Aries too? Yeah, why not? Let me just do it. Okay. This is going to be one of them long videos. So, the Moon in Aries, the essence is security through doing. The Sun in Aries was living through doing. The Moon in Aries is security through doing. Okay, eternal youth, be here now. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different between the Sun in Aries and the Moon in Aries, of course. Okay, You experience life as something that never stands still, which in the strictest sense it is. Wow, that was a tongue twister for me. You experience life as something that never stands still, which in the strictest sense it is. However, if you are feeling insecure about any part of your life, then this can prod you into attempting to resolve things more quickly than is naturally possible. Yeah, if you're feeling out of sorts, you might be trying to make it work faster than it's actually possible for it to work or naturally possible. So you are predisposed to racing around as if there is some ghastly time limit set upon you. And since Aries moon makes for a strong personality, you can either precipitate predicaments where hurrying seems unavoidable or use such forcefulness quickly to begin to slow down. Decide what you are after. Oh, okay. Let's reread that. Okay. All right. That sentence is way too long. That's why it didn't read properly. Let's see. So you are predisposed to racing around as if there is some ghastly time limit set upon you. And since Aries moons makes for a strong personality, you can either precipitate predicaments where hurrying seems unavoidable. You can precipitate those kinds of situations where it seems like it's unavoidable. You got to start racing around rushing. Or you can use such forcefulness quickly to begin to slow down. Okay? Decide what you are after and then establish your own more comfortable pace. Okay? So you force the situation and slow down. Okay? If things are moving too fast, you force it to slow down. Okay? That's your Aryan force, but you're forcing it to slow down so that you can get to the level that's comfortable for you, the pace that's comfortable for you. Okay? We're talking about a moon in Aries, okay? You still got some force, but we're talking about security through doing. So that's when you're running around. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. If I don't get this done, if I don't get that done, if I don't get this done." However, what actually motivates you into doing anything in the first place is a sense of insecurity, which was very likely inherited from your mother. Wow, because we're talking about the moon, okay? You're insecure. You inherited that from your mom, possibly. All right. And because a moon in Aries is somebody who feels secure based on doing things. You can see these kinds of people in the church. You see a whole lot of women who are completely hurriedly busy doing. I remember that Iyanla Vanzant used to talk about being that person. Busy, 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 doing. I wouldn't be surprised if she's got a moon in Aries. I really wouldn't. I believe she's a Virgo, and I think she's Virgo. Her birthday's in September at some point in time. And she used to talk about that, doing. In fact, that's what caused her and Oprah to break apart their little thing that they was trying to get together. Iyanla was it wasn't happening fast enough for her. Oprah was taking too long to create her show. I gotta have a show. I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep moving. She messed that whole thing up for herself. But lucky for her, it came back around to her favor 10 years later. Ooh, that was a 10-year long lesson. That's that Aries moon. You're trying to get that security point going, right? And you do till you lose your mind because you're over. Yeah, you're like that. But the insecurity is something that you probably inherited from your mother, if that's what you have. Okay. To feel peaceful can therefore be rather meaningless, even boring to you. To feel peaceful can be meaningless and even boring to you. You got it bad when it's like that, okay? You got it bad. But you can get it straight once again. We're going to deal with the transformer in a minute, okay? So you also have difficulty in being calm and can wear yourself out before you know it. All the same, you have the marvelous ability to recover quickly from traumas, be they physical, mental, or emotional. You have a large helping of that human capacity to recharge yourself in times of need. Okay. And that's the Aries thing, that spontaneity, right? And in the moon, you're recharging. Okay. You still got that. Okay. Equally, okay. You have a large helping of that human capacity to recharge yourself in times of need when alone in the wilderness. You could be regarded as the warrior or scout type of personality. Equally, your resilience is marked by being subject to emotional surges rather than lingering moods. You experience life as a thing of the moment and should train and trust yourself to respond to the needs of that moment. Travel light. You have a temper that can frighten and amaze, but this too flares up and dies down suddenly. And this is born of frustration, again, from with your mother, rather than maliciousness. That frustration, that temper comes based on that relationship with the mother. It's not because the person is malicious if they have that kind of an energy. It's because they have an Aryan moon. Okay. The battle stations mode is one that seems to prevail and you actually thrive on conflict, even though other dimensions of your personality may suffer because of it and refuse to accept it. Wow. You feel that there are only two alternatives, either breaking through or breaking down. Now that sounds like a moon in Aries that's a little bit, got to calm that moon in Aries stuff down. That's doing too much. you know. This has a decidedly seesaw effect on your intimate involvements, in particular, your intimate involvement, the moon energy, okay? And on all relationships in general, but your intimate involvements in particular. Even so, everyone depends upon you to provide excitement and unpredictability. However, somewhere along the line, you need to cultivate a steadier emotional rhythm for you burn yourself out. And remember that you are not under continual threat of hostile forces. Even though you like to regard life as a battle, bear in mind that like should be the operative word. Above all, you are after something that will last, which is quite a quest in itself, maybe the quest. As you view your probably rapid social or romantic turnover so far, you may leap to the conclusion that sustaining anything is just not part of your game plan. But look again, and you will see that what persists is persistence itself, and most of all, your childlike sense, which inspires both you and others with the primary assumption that life is a thrilling and unique experience. So you see how that is. With the moon in Aries, okay, it affects that energy is still there, but it's coming from this feminine perspective. This is why it's just not right for people to come to the conclusions that there's no fire energy inside of women. There's plenty of it. It it comes forth in numerous different ways based on how your natal chart looks. What about all those women who have moon in Aries? Okay. It don't matter what their sun sign is. You can still have a moon in. I mean, I could have a moon in Aries and still be a Sagittarian sun. If I did, oh boy, that would be, that would be something right there. That would be like double fire. The thought of it is just terrifying to me. But imagine, Okay. We all know a woman like that who steady moving, moving, and feel like she got to push her way emotionally overrunning people. Her relationship, she moves, she pushing that thing. I gotta look at Yanla's chart. Yanla Van Zant's natal chart. September 13th, 1953. Let's see, where's her moon? Woo! Her moon is in Scorpio. And I just got through saying that Mars rules Scorpio. So it's that same energy. It's this, it's the same energy. Sun in Virgo, moon in Scorpio. Where's her other? Not telling me to rest. I just knew it because she talks so much about being like that. Like she's trying to force things to happen. Busy, 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 busy. Okay, my people, let's finish this. Okay, where was I? It's almost as though they don't push it like that. It's like we got to make it do. Okay, otherwise I'm not gonna feel comfortable. My head might blow up or something. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay. The battle stations mode is one that seems to prevail, and you actually thrive on conflict, even though other dimensions of your personality may suffer because of it. That's interesting. See, that moon in Aries overshadows the other aspects of the personality. Yeah, the Aries energy is very powerful, okay? Inside of a moon, yeah, extremely powerful. And refuse to accept it. You feel that there are only two alternatives, either breaking through or breaking down. This has a decidedly seesaw effect on your intimate involvements in particular and on all relationships in general. Even so, everyone depends upon you to provide excitement and unpredictability. However, somewhere along the line, you need to cultivate a steadier emotional rhythm. And remember that you are not under continual threat of hostile forces, okay? Even though you like to regard life as a battle, bear in mind that like should be the operative word. Above all, you are after something that will last, which is quite a quest in itself, maybe the quest. Something that will last. That's what you want, okay? Something that will last, okay? As you view your probably rapid social or romantic turnover so far, you may leap to the conclusion that sustaining anything is just not part of your game plan. But look again, and you will see that what persists is persistence itself, and most of all, your childlike sense, which inspires both you and others with the primary assumption that life is a thrilling and unique experience. Okay, so the moon in Aries in the transformer. Positive words: spontaneous, direct, straightforward, and sharp. Okay, negative: impetuous, brusque, unsubtle, and blunt. The problem could be unaware of others' sensibilities. They cannot be aware of yours. Are you aware of this? Unaware of others' sensibilities. They cannot be aware of yours. Are you aware of this? Solution: between your refreshing outbursts, be mindful of others' finer feelings and express your own. You have to become more refined, more, because they say that Aries people are so brusque and they're just rushing through, they're not paying attention to the details or the subtleties. You got to learn how to do it. It's not impossible to do. It's just a place to start. and you develop yourself by learning how to develop those sensitivities. See, that's what she had to do with Oprah in the end, okay? She assumed that Oprah was, didn't want to give her that show after all, that she didn't deserve it. Now she had to push her way into a show, and she went with that stupid move, Barbara Walters, and Barbara didn't have the right amount of respect for Iyanla's sensibilities, okay? 10 years later, she crawling back to Oprah. And Oprah gonna make you crawl. You're gonna have to crawl back to Oprah. You lucky that she lets you back, periods. That's the way Oprah does her thing. Okay. So more positivities. Energetic, stimulating, quick responses, and lively. Lively, yes, quick responses, lively. The negative is frenzied, too excitable, jumpy, irritable, impatient. That kind of stuff. I don't like that kind of energy. Okay, what could be the problem here? Although your fiery energy can be fun, are you driving it or is it driving you? That part right there. Okay, the solution, it's driving you and it won't let you down. So there's no need to hurry unnecessarily. Oh, that's interesting. It's driving you. That energy is driving you and it won't let you down. So there's no need to hurry unnecessarily. You don't have to be in this rush. The energy is driving you and it's going to be there with you. So you can control it. you can just relax a little bit. The energy is there with you. It's going to be there, okay? Positives: open, daring, self-assertive and independent. Negatives: tactless, reckless, pushy, uncooperative. Problem: people and things either get in your way or don't go along with you. Solution: ensure that what you are after is consciously constructive, not unconsciously defensive. More positive words: trailblazing, original, future sensed, spirited. Negatives: ahead of self, inaccessible, tense and restless. Problem: lonely and ill at ease with yourself. Hmm. That lonely and ill at ease part, that's a lot of the issue, that the negative part that can be happening with Aries people. If they're, out of sorts, it could be that loneliness is pushing them and they move too fast because they're trying to correct this feeling that they have. They're out of, they're doing too much. So your solution: a fire must have fuel to burn on. To continue, recognize your needs as well as your wants. You got to recognize your needs, not just what you want, but what you need. You need to calm down. That's what you need. Okay. You need to balance yourself. Don't overuse your energies. Okay. So more positive words: ever ready, arousing, unstoppable, and unbeatable. Negatives: fit to burst, precipitous, bad finisher, and sore loser. Hmm. Problem could be a meteor like you spin yourself too soon and create situations where you cannot win. And a solution would be: know that whatever is required of you, but no more and no less is always possible. Know that whatever is required of you, but no more and no less is always possible. Hmm. Maybe you guys understood that. Okay, so my people, that is both the sun in Aries and the moon in Aries. So there's that energy, that for progressive energy, but you have to be in control of. You can't allow it to take you further than what's beneficial for you, because a lot of times we can have what we have in our minds as the way to go, but our bodies have its own mind. Our mind has its mind, but our body has its own mind. Okay. You got to balance those two. You got to come into balance with that based on whatever your sign is and however you move. It seems like with the Aryan person, they can push too fast, too hard, and too far that even they are not benefited. But of course, they leaving all kind of collateral damage on either side of them. If they do it too much. You know, and then they feel lonely in the end. Well, you don't stomped all over everybody in your fast forward movement, and you're so anxious to move. You don't we call that stampeded over everybody, and now you're sitting there by yourself and you're sitting there sad. There's nobody here with me. Well, you done killed them all. There, you done left them behind you. They all stomped all over. They're trampled, and you did it. Okay, so you got to slow down so that you can fit in with people. That's all that is. All right, my people. Peace and blessings. We're gonna do the next one. I'm thinking I'm gonna go through the entire planetary alignments, so that we're gonna be doing. This is gonna be a long thing if I do it like this. The next one will be Mercury. I'm going to do Mercury in Aries. I was thinking I might do it. Mercury in Aries. And then after that, Venus in Aries. Wow, that's going to be interesting. Venus in Aries. So the moon, let me just read this to you guys. The sun in Aries is living. Nope, that's not Aries. The sun in Aries. Here it is. Living through doing, right? The moon in Aries is security through doing, right? Mercury in Aries is thinking through doing, and Venus is Venus in Aries is loving through doing, okay? So what is Jupiter in Aries? Oh, okay, let's do this. Mars in Aries, getting through doing. Mars in Aries is in its element because Mars actually rules over Aries. So getting through doing. So what's Jupiter? Mars in Sagittarius. What is that? We'll come to that later. Jupiter in Aries, growing through doing. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Growing through doing. This is going to be fun. All right, my people. So that's it for now. We're going to do all of it. It's going to take a minute just to do Aries. We'll see how this works. Okay. I remember when I read the book, Ancient Astrological Secrets of the Jews Revealed, it took me a year, an entire year to read through that entire book the way I was doing it. So I'm willing to do it however long it takes to read through this. Okay. But we're going to do all the planets through each sign. Okay. By the time I'm done, you're going to understand yourself much better as long as you have your natal chart and it's easy to get. All right. Peace and blessings.